What's good? What's good? It's the one, the only, but what do I know? Boxing coming back at y'all with another one, man. So I was finally able to watch the full press conference between David Benavidez and David Morrell. And I want to go ahead and talk about who I felt like had the advantage or whatever the situation may be. As you guys can see on the thumbnail, I'm just gonna get straight to it. I'm gonna speak on all the fights as well, like my predictions for the fights, mainly the Brandon Figueroa rematch with Stephen Fulton. But in the press conference, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I've kind of felt it like I didn't feel anybody pulled away with the press conference. And I know this is not a big deal for a lot of people, but for me, I do like to I like to read energy. I like to look at like only exciting press conferences, like press conferences that aren't exciting. That doesn't mean that I'm not a fan of a fighter because their press conferences aren't exciting. Like one of my favorite fighters of all time is Miguel Cotto, and if anybody knows Cotto is a soft-spoken guy. His press conferences might not been entertaining, but he made up for it in the ring for sure. But I didn't really feel like anybody really pulled away with it. I don't feel like anybody got out of character. A lot of people I saw felt like David Benavidez was, getting too emotional. But if you guys remember, that was exactly how he was with Caleb Plant. Actually, to be honest, he was actually more emotional with Caleb Plant than he was with David Morrell. With David Morrell, he more so was just kind of telling him like, I've been hearing all the stuff you've been talking, and like here we are now. I'm finna break your mouth, And but David Morrell was definitely not bothered at all. David Morrell was actually. It looked like David Morrell was actually enjoying himself up there and having fun. And shout out to David Morrell for that. Shout out to David Benavidez. The press conference was entertaining. It wasn't as entertaining as the Caleb Plant press conference. That I feel like that was like at its best. David Benavidez at his best, but it still was entertaining. It's bad blood between the two. David Morrell, and this is what I don't like. No, I don't like when, like, say for example, somebody been talking stuff and they get addressed and then they act like they don't know what the other person is talking about. And by that, I mean, like, David Benavidez, I've been seeing David Morrell talk stuff about David Benavidez and his family for a long time. I've even done videos on it where he called the Benavidez family some B words and all this type of stuff. So, what I'm saying? Like, if you're going to say that, bro, don't, like, stand on it, bro. Like, don't try to act like you don't know what they're talking about, because David Morrell kind of tried to downplay, like, when David Benavidez was like, okay, you was doing all this, talking, disrespecting my dad and all this type of stuff. Now we here, I'm finna, punch you in the face and all that. And like David Morrell, was basically saying to David Benavidez, or to Jose Benavidez Sr., like, I don't know what he's talking about. I never disrespected you. Like, bro, yes, you did, bro. Like, come on, bro. Like, the video was there. I don't have to pull it up, but I've done videos on it. Videos talking about the disrespect, or not so much the disrespect, but the trash talking with David Morrell. So just stand on it. Don't try to make it seem like you didn't say that when you did. But outside of that, bro, like, I mean, I just I don't feel like anybody was out of character. I feel like David Morrell was relaxed and smiling, having fun, talking stuff, going back and forth. He told David Benavidez, like, nah, bro, you ain't breaking nobody's mouth. You ain't got that type of power. And so it's a interesting match. I mean, it's an interesting war of words. They had the little face off for the promo or whatever, and they came face to face. I don't want to say a face off and get it misconstrued like it's a face off like HBO face off or like how they used to do, but they came face to face and they were jaw jacking there, and had to get separated there because it was a lot of tough stuff talking. So I mean, listen, I'm proud that this fight is made. I'm proud of David Benavidez for showing once again that I don't understand how anybody could dislike David Benavidez. Like, I'm seriously trying to figure it out. Like, even if you don't like how David Benavidez fights, like, how can you dislike this man as a fighter for taking on who do you know who is already mandated, like, got it pretty much signed, sealed, and delivered, not literally, but I'm saying figuratively, like, they signed, sealed, and delivered for a title shot, and so it's and he still opts to take on a dangerous opponent. Normally in this situation, when a fighter is guaranteed a title shot next, normally what happens is they take a little soft tune-up. But David Benavidez is taking on David Morrell. Like, who do you know like does that? You got to give credit. I don't see how anybody could dislike David Benavidez, bro. That dude is a true monster, and he's showing that he doesn't care. He wants to fight everybody, bro. This dude literally, like, he fought, he did everything he could do to get a fight with Canelo. Everybody can get a fight with Canelo except for David Benavidez for whatever reason. I think we know, but he proved that he's willing to fight the top guys. He fought Caleb Plant. He fought Demetrius Andrade. Another fighter that Canelo didn't want to fight for whatever reason. And that I'm not sure, because I always thought Canelo would beat Demetrius Andrade. But David Benavidez proved that he's willing to fight him. He was willing to fight Jamal Charlo. Jamal Charlo didn't want to make that fight. He was willing to fight Jaime Munguia. They didn't want to make that fight. He was willing to fight Edgar Berlanga. They didn't want to make that fight. So, bro, like, you gotta respect that. Now, not only, bro, for y'all that's trying to say, oh, he's a weight bully, he should be at 175. Bro, the man moved up to 175 and it's called out Artur Beterbiev, has called out Dimitri Bivol, has said he's willing to fight both of them, bro. Like, how can you dislike this guy? Like, seriously, I don't see how you can dislike a guy like David Benavidez. Imagine if boxing had more fighters like David Benavidez, bro. We would never have to, like, it wouldn't be any ducking. You know what I'm saying? But it is what it is, man. I am super excited, man. The fight is going to be an interesting fight. David Morrell is very wild with his punches. He's, long. He tries to be more of an outboxer, but he has heavy hands, and he can hurt David Benavidez for sure. It's no doubt about it. David Benavidez is a come forward, wear his opponents down. Fast hands for his size. You would look at him and you would be surprised at how fast his hands are. Very quick at his hands. Not one punch knockout guy, but will get you out of there for sure. Got popping his punch. I think with David Morrell's style, I see David Morrell winning the early part of the fight just based off of his style, and just based off of Benavidez's style is more so tailor-made for the second half of the fight. David Benavidez's style is not made for the first half of the fight. So meaning that he's going to walk you down and he's going to be there to be hit. But his whole style is to get you pretty much have that pressure come to you, have you succumb to that pressure, and then that's when he steps it up, and that's why you see his punch output go up as the rounds go, and getting his guys out of there. But I feel like the first 3, maybe even 4 rounds, David Morrell would take, and if David Morrell can withstand, it'll be a very close, entertaining fight. But I do see David Benavidez coming on in the second half of the fight. But I also can see David Benavidez getting hurt, because David Morrell is definitely he definitely has heavy hands, and he's definitely going to be David Benavidez is definitely going to be there to be hit. I wouldn't even be surprised, honestly, if I wouldn't be surprised if Benavidez gets dropped in this fight, maybe just in the early part of the round. But I see David Benavidez turning that around, and I see David Benavidez winning this fight. I got David Benavidez winning by unanimous decision. Either, like, I'm gonna say 7 rounds to 5. I got David Benavidez, because I can see David Morrell also getting winded in the second half of the fight. But shout out to David Benavidez. Y'all know who I'm riding with, bro. That's my guy. David Benavidez is my guy, but that's just my opinion and breakdown of the fight. Stephen Fulton, as far as his fight goes, his rematch with Brandon Figueroa. I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. Y'all might not like this, but I got Brandon Figueroa winning the rematch, bro. I don't think Stephen Fulton has improved. Now I'm going for Stephen Fulton, but I don't think Stephen Fulton has improved, bro. I really don't. Since their first fight, I don't see the improvement with Stephen Fulton, and I don't know. He was dropped in his last fight. Against I don't want to disrespect him, but he was dropped in his last fight against a less quality opposition. Granted, he won the fight, but he was obviously knocked out by Inoue. I'm gonna be honest with you, Stephen Fulton has not really improved To me, and I got Brandon Figueroa winning in a rematch. I don't think he stops Stephen Fulton, but I think that that pressure will play a big role because Brandon Figueroa is a come forward pressure type fighter as well. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe. Who are you picking to win each fight? Which fight are you most excited about? Oh my goodness, I'm excited. Shout out to David Benavidez, but what do I know?